say session 2 in AutoCAD 3D. So objective of this session will be different types of modeling. So we have the wireframe modeling, surface modeling, solid modeling and NURBS modeling. Now what is wireframe modeling? So wireframe model is constructed from lines that form the frame of the model. It's called skeletal model. Surface model consists of edges and non-transparent faces that form the external boundary. So what does that mean? It's like paper model. This paper. So it doesn't have any thickness. Whereas solid model consists of thickness and volume. So surface model will not have any volume, whereas solid model will have volume, mass, center of gravity, and moment of inertia can be derived from the model. There is one more model called mesh model. So mesh model are a special case of surface models. The mesh model is again represented by grid of edges and faces. So by using mesh models, we can freely control the model, which are unavailable in solid modeling. So what is that used for? Human faces can be modeled. So whichever is in your real world can be modeled using the mesh models. So wireframe model will look like this. It contains number of points, lines, arc, circle and other curves which define the lines of the object, central lines of the object. It's called a skeletal model. So this is one more wireframe model. So here we have the 2D objects. So 2D objects, if you change the elevation, you can see the elevation also. And suppose a thickness is added, so that becomes a surface model. So we'll see this. Then we have the surface modeling. And the difference between surface and the solid is, you can see that here this is open, where here this is closed. So it's like a cardboard box where you don't have any thickness, or the paper box, cake boxes and all. Here this is having thickness. The solid modeling. So you can see one more difference between the 2D modeling. It's a 2D model. This is a surface model. This is a surface model. This is a solid model. You can see clearly the difference between the mesh model also. So it contains the meshes, lots of meshes, so that it can be edited. Okay. So let's see how that is done in the tool. So suppose let us first talk about the elevation. Okay. So there is a command called elevation. So I go to the top view, or you can go to here. This is a 2D object that we have seen. Okay. I am going to type a command called elevation, enter, and the elevation I am saying let us check the units first. Units, it's inches, decimal inches, you can make it unitless. Elevation is around 10 units. So I'm not giving any thickness now. So let us see the thickness later. Okay, now I'm going to draw an object here. The same rectangle I'm going to draw. Now there are two rectangles. So now when I go to this view, any view, you can see that the elevation of 10 units has been created. So two objects has been created, but the old object was at an elevation 0. The new object was at an elevation 10 units. So elevation, you can give an elevation, that's height, and you can define the object at a different height. Now this is a 2D model. Okay. Now let's see. I'm going to give the thickness to the object. So thickness can be given. Thickness can be given in two ways. You can type the command thickness. Okay, when you type the command thickness, you can see that I give a unit of 5 units to the thickness. Okay, now when you draw an object, any object, 2D object. Okay, home we have the 2D object here. If I draw a circle, you can see that becomes a cylinder with an open ellipse. Here it doesn't have a thickness. If I draw a line, it becomes a plane. If I draw an arc, if I draw an ellipse, so this is how you, suppose I want to draw the individual thickness of this. This is the common in 5 units for all the objects that you do. Suppose I want to give the individual thickness of an object. You right click, go to the properties. Here, in every object there will be a thickness. So it converts to a. This is a wireframe model. You can specify a color to it. And now you can see any mode. You can see the realistic mode. You can see now this is hollow. If you look around using the orbit button, you can see that it is like a paper. If you want to draw a rectangle using a paper where you have no thickness, you can use this thickness. Okay. So this is one type of surface modeling. Using the thickness, and this is a wireframe. So you can see that when you have the wireframe model, it is only the skeletal. So you can model any object through the surface modeling, through solid modeling, through mesh modeling. Mechanical engineers use and civil engineers use mostly solid modeling, whereas architects may use surface modeling. Now what is the difference? The solid modeling will occupy more space. Volume is there, so it will occupy a lot of RAM. So your machine may be slow. Solid modeling requires a lot of RAM. Surface modeling, the file size becomes lesser because of volume, missing volumes. The surface modeling will have less file size than the solid modeling. So the next, now I have to make the thickness 0. And then you try to draw any object. Now it becomes a 2D object. These are called open objects, these are called closed objects. Now suppose one more method of using a surface modeling is region. So you can use a 2D object. So suppose I draw a circle. I draw one more circle. If I specify a command called EGIO and region, select the objects, press enter. Now the object is converted into a surface model. How will you know? Go to this and if you say shaded, okay. But if you want a hole inside, see now you have created two regions are created. So you can use the subtract option. Subtract. So asking select the object's first object, press enter. Then you have to say the second object. Press enter. Then you will get this. This is a region. Okay. But this is one kind of creating a surface. Now suppose I want to create a 2D object. Okay. So this is one more command. So I go to the top view first. So here, suppose I want to form a wheel or a gear or something. So you have to draw the object. What I do is I draw a circle, any model which I want to draw. Okay, I array it, select the object. So polar array, axis of rotation is here. Okay, number of items, okay, 15. Now this is a 2D object. Okay. Now what I do, I use a command called boundary, BO. So it's asking pick points, like hatching, but it will try to create a boundary and create a separate object out of it. Pick points. I'm picking the internal. You can see the highlighted portion will become a separate object. Enter. How will you know? Now you have to move the object. Move, enter. Last object. Last created object. Here. You can see that these kind of objects can be created using the boundary command. So any command, any object is possible, any shape is possible using this 2D objects. So with 2D objects, you can create any shapes and then convert that to a 3D object. Okay. So this is the region command. Suppose I want to model something. With the thickness itself, I can model any object. Suppose I want to draw a pencil. Okay, so I go to the 3D. I'm not using the surface modeling, but it is called one of the surface modeling. So with the thickness command, what all you can do is radius of the pencil is 1.3 something. Select the object. Go to the properties, give the thickness, the length of the pencil that you want. You can even change the radius here. that becomes difficult because here I cannot change the thickness. My cone should be, this should be cone. Okay. So that cone, you need to model it properly because thickness will have uniform size. Okay. So what I can model is as a screen or an asbestos sheet I can model. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll redo it. Circle. Okay. Change the thickness 5, or you can say 0.25. And go back to the top view. Use copy command. All 2D commands can be used here. I want to create a small shed. Now on the top of it, I can create a small shed. Okay. So but you need to make sure that the shed is in the proper direction. For that you should know one thing. So now I have drawn this. Okay. So I can create a plane over here. I can create a line and I can specify the thickness. So if I do that, see what happens. Or you can use a rectangle. See here, add the rectangle. Okay. Now if you specify the thickness, it will become like a box. So what you need to do is convert into a region. Enter. Select the object. Enter. It's converted. One region created. You go and see in the, you can specify the color to it. So with the small objects, you can create any things. But you see here, the hole is seen. Okay. Here you can see the hole, but that doesn't look neat. Okay. So what you need to do is you have to create a circle there. At the top and then convert into a region. See, at the same option. Okay. Convert into a region. Select it and now I'll copy that. Copy. Select the objects from this midpoint to all the midpoints. Even at the bottom also you need to do. Because we are not want, you cannot see the bottom unless you rotate, you will not be able to find it. So that is why we are not we are leaving that. You can see now. So we change the color of this. It looks like a cylinder. You can use match properties. In A, select this match properties. Here. Now it looks like a cylinder. Okay. And you can draw the rectangle and convert into a region now. Okay, this is done. Now, but you can see that I have to do the front view. It is sitting at this point. Okay, so I have to go for the left view. So you need to check whether your objects are sitting at the proper position or not. But suppose, so I go to this view and make this to the wireframe. Okay, you can see that the grid has changed. Okay, now you see X, Y, and Z is like this. I need to go to this home. X and XY is this way, and Z is this way. Okay, so your objects will be drawn where the grid is. For example, suppose if I want to draw an asbestos sheet, kind of a curve. Okay, so here. So I need to change the view first. Why? Because if I try to draw an arc, see here it will come properly because all objects are drawn in the XY plane and extended towards the Z direction. But see now this is going to come okay. This is okay because that is going to extend. But in some cases, most of the cases, this may not happen. So this is not the better way of drawing. So always you need to, suppose I want to draw, I need to go to the front or the back view and then I need to draw the arc. Currently I am not drawing it perfectly because I want to show how it is drawn. The cursor is difficult. Let me change the cursor first. So I want to specify thickness here. So I don't know what is that length. Let us change it, then later we can go. So you see now how it is there. So that also we need to check out. So as far as the front view, right view, we need to check out where it is and move it properly. So all the views are very important. using it here. Let's go and check, then copy it. You can use array also. So now I have used only 2D command and I have used only thickness. You can see now, if you change the thickness of this, radius of this, so you can see how with only the thickness you can create any kind of an object. So I hope you have understood the concept of the front, left, back side. In other classes I will even show how this works. So let us see in the next class.